Hi everyone, paul@emodels.co.uk. Welcome to part 9 of the 132 Tamiya Corsair build. Where we were at last time, we got all the rear horizontal stabilisers on. Today we're done a bit of work off camera, as you can see. We've got the mid section of the lower fuselage and the mid section of the wings all assembled. Now I didn't do this on camera because basically, I'll explain why now. These aren't glued on. What I've done off camera is I've glued all these parts in position. We put the wheel well covers on. Like I said, it's going to be in flight, so all this is all buttoned up inside, so no need to paint it. Absolute waste of time doing that. So that's why I thought, rather than bore you guys by you watching me, there's probably about 30 parts here, including a couple of photo etch, or 4 photo etch. So I thought it would be a really boring video. I did this off camera. There's no painting involved because it's all buttoned up. There's nothing to see. So I thought I'll do it all off camera. All very straightforward building. If I grab the instructions, I'll show you quickly. Nothing too intense to do. So this is where we were at last time. We had to choose between extended or folded wings. So we're basically done from step 40 to, I can figure it out, 48. Halfway through 49, because this is where we're at now with these two parts ready to go on. These are all assembled. So all the coolers were assembled, a bit of photo etch left and right. They were installed in the lower fuselage wing sections. The nut for the stand and the cover was put in. All the other components were put in. Any holes in the drilling were done. The wing, let's move this over. The wing main beam is all done, glued in position, along with the landing gear bay walls. The two sides of the walls are installed, glued in position. The top covers, all the other components were put in. I'm not sure what they are, to be honest. Lower wing part. Like I say, none of it's been painted up because none of it's going to be seen. So if you're that way inclined, you could paint it and cover it up. Me, if I can't see it, there's no point, in my opinion. All these separate parts are put in, and obviously I've gone forward in the instruction book. Got the wheelway, landing bay covers, put them in, glued them in position. Like I say, sadly on this, there's no choice of up or down. It's either or. You can't have both, which is a bit of a shame. But I want it in flight. I think these look awesome in flight, and it's the way I've always envisioned having it, and that's the way it's going to be. So like I said, did all that off camera, probably 9 steps off camera, and we are literally to this point here. These are assembled, these are ready to be glued in place. Then we can start attaching some of the other wing root undersurface parts. We've got a window to put in, etc. What else? And we've got the rods, flap rods, etc. So right now we're going to concentrate on this. That's where we're at now. So I'm going to put it to one side. So this is where we're at. Like I say, all the lower wing sections are done. So these literally clip over the top. I say clip, pop over the top. They are glued in position like so. What we need to get rid of, if I zoom in for you to have a look, go the right way. Just got these front seams to sort out of there, like so, and then on the back we've got more control surfaces to put in, and obviously parts to go on the side, ready for the end wing sections. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to glue these in position, both sides, and then once they're glued in position, we have that part to go in for the oil cooler intakes, like so. So hopefully we can get all buttoned up nice and neat. I test fitted this in the fuselage, and it's a damn good fit. Really nice, really tight. I'll be able to do it. I'm not going to do it now because there's a bit of a pig to get it back off, to be honest. It's that good a fit. So that's it. So what we're going to do, a bit of extra thin. The usual trick. Turn it upside down, have a look, make sure we're in the correct position, which we are. Like so. Upside down. Make sure you guys are in shot. Hopefully that'll get us enough glue in there. As on that part, not as much that side. So what we're going to do, we're going to clamp it. Use a burner clamp. I'm not sure if you've seen me use it before, but they are very handy. Pop that side on and get it to come up. Clamp it on. Don't know if it's got enough force to do this or not. So it's kind of got it. Oh, as he drops it, knocks it off. It's kind of getting it, but it needs a little bit of force just to hold it in position. These things aren't the easiest of things to put it on. Here we go. Oh, popped off again. There we go. Perfect. That'll do me now. So as you can see, that part's glued in. This is clamped together, and I'm just going to run a little bit of super glue. I can get you on the front camera. I don't think I can. Let the capillary action carry the glue up, like so. Give it a little squeeze. Like so. I'm just going to run. Really wiped off the brush on the extra thin. Just going to run it through myself like so, and a little bit more on this part. What we'll do, keep that clamped up. Go and apply a little bit of glue at the back. See where it's attaching, which it is right there. Just get a few lines of extra thin just between these two surfaces at the top. Then at the back there needs a little bit. Always meant to wipe it off. You don't want too much glue, you don't need it. But you shouldn't do anyway. And then we're going to pop it just in there like so. Let the capillary action carry through. Like so. Give it a little press again. And that needs to be let to dry. We can give it a buff off. Give it a little fill. It's going to need a fill. There is a seam there. There's no way of getting around that. It's probably going to need a peg at the back there as well, just to hold in. Doesn't need any force. It just needs to be held in position. I'll try and do it without destroying everything. There we go. I'm going to put a little bit of glue at the bottom. There's a locating point just there. Drop a little bit of extra thin in there. A little bit at the top there. And a little bit around the front. So it needs to be exactly the same for the other side. Then once they're dried, we need to come back. A little bit of filler. I might use super glue as a fill. There goes that peg at the back. Quite handy because I need to push that forward. Obviously when you're gluing things in position, always make sure they stay where they should. That keeps sliding forward for some reason, I'm not sure why. So maybe I'm just going to hold this for a few minutes. The back's fairly well attached now. I got all these dry. I'm going to do the side as well. Let the extra thin dry. We'll then come back. A little bit of super glue, a few dabs. That dries really, really fast. Nice and hard. Doesn't shrink either. I've started using super glue a lot lately as filler. We'll pop it in, sand it all off, get them all buffed up, and I can test fit it in the aircraft once it's ready to go. And I'll show you the fit, because the fit is absolutely superb. Very well done. So I'll be back in about, well, half an hour or so, and we'll get it sorted. Right, okay. They've been clamped for about 20 minutes now. Drying nicely, as we can see. We have a little looky there. What I've done, I've added the intake scoop covers as well, so they've been extra thinned in as well. I need to let these dry quite a while. Still quite soft, and then we'll put some super glue in and sand that off as a filler. So what we've got now, on to step 50. No, we're not. We've done step 50. We've got the clear screen on step 50, which will go in almost before we're ready to prime. Just cut it off, checked it. That's fine. So we're on to step 51, which is attaching the flap rods. We're going for the flaps up. So we've got these specific parts, and there's different ones we have the flaps down, obviously. Also, when you build the root sections, you need to drill a hole just there, depending on whether you're up or down. Up's the higher one, down's the lower one, so you need to pick and choose there. when you're building that up. So I cleaned off half of these, and we've just got a few sprue marks just to clean off. Cylindrical parts, quite tricky to clean. Ideal thing to use is one of our thinny sponges. They make short work of this. Work really well. Just a case of removing the majority of the sprue. Because it's sponge, it doesn't take too much off, doesn't flatten it, keeps it round. Nice neat surface. Once you're done, go in with a buffer. Green side first, then the white to polish it up. Job done. Doesn't even look like it's ever been cut off. Same on the other. So it's case clean these up, I'll glue them in position. Probably going to let that front wing section dry overnight, or at least till this evening. It's 12 o'clock midday now on Tuesday morning, well afternoon now. So I'll probably let this dry till tomorrow, and then we'll get the edges cleaned up, filled, polished, rescribed, etc, etc. Quite a bit of work, but obviously it's a leading edge, so it's very important to get it right. So I'll just clean all these up and we'll glue these in position. And I'll come back to you guys later on this evening or tomorrow. A few of you guys may have seen as well, if you remember International Scale Modeler, the forum I part own. Myself and my girlfriend Hannah are expecting our first child. We go for our 20-week scan on the 11th, so we found out the sex. Like I said, it's our first child, we're very happy, but it's making a little bit of a dent at the minute on my free time, because obviously Hannah's a lot less, well, I don't want her to be pushing herself too much. She's still in work full time, so I'm trying to take care of other things around the house. We've got a lot of planning to do, a lot of work to do on the house to get stuff ready, so it's taken up a lot of my free time, hence why there's been a big delay getting this video out. So all I'm going to do is apologise. Obviously I do these videos for free models, obviously they supply the kit, so it is my time unfortunately, and obviously some things have to take a back seat, and it is the video, so that's why there's been a bit of a gap. Hopefully I can keep knocking them out every 3 weeks like I used to, but if not, you know why. It's just literally my own free time is very valuable at the minute, and that's just the way it is unfortunately. Right, so they're all cleaned up, ready to go. If I can figure out which side is which, so that's gonna be this side, is it? Yep, so we'll glue this side on first. Make sure you guys can see. There's a little locating hole, which that just slots in. Refer back to instructions, make sure you got it right, which we have. So it's just like a cover this. I'm not sure exactly of its purpose. I assume it's just to neaten it all up. All this glued in position, like so. It's obviously going to be hidden, so it doesn't necessarily have to be the neatest of work, but like I always say, it's still worthwhile taking your time. So I keep looking at the wrong bloody instructions, which doesn't help. That slots in there. That goes in there like so. Gotta say, the fit of the kit is absolutely sublime. I'm just coming to the end of my 132 Tamiya F16. Been building that since November. It's not as, probably not as in depth a kit as this, because although I've taken time doing the engine and the cockpit, I think there was a bit more work to this kit. But I think it's looking well. I'm rather happy with that. So hopefully this will turn out as good, but again, that was a stunning kit. I know a lot of people say they're expensive kits, but for the time that they take to build, let's make sure I get this in the right hole, bottom one. For the time it takes to build, the money to time value factor is really good. You get a lot of kit for your money. You can add as little or as much detail as you want. I like to try and build them out of the box if I can, because they do build superb out of the box. I may add or change a few little things, like I've done on this, adding a bit of wiring detail to the engine, but I try and build them as they were meant to be built. Which way does this go? So that goes into the top there, which is already a little bit of glue. That goes in there as well. There we go. Very neat. Superb. Like I say, you know, you could a whole hog of all these kits and add all the resin extras that are available for them from various manufacturers. I think it's not a shame to do that, but I just like to see what you can get out of the box with the kit. I really enjoyed them all. Obviously, video building a kit takes a hell of a lot longer than just building it of your own accord. It makes it a bit more of a long drawn out affair doing it that way. But you know, it's still enjoyable building the kit. Obviously the time taken, you know, planning ahead to make sure I've got footage for it that isn't as boring as hell. To show doing the parts, or enough of them anyway. I know there's some guys building this, and even on the forum they posted they've been building it because of watching this, and that's nice to see. But it does make it a more drawn out affair. I'm building this 7-8 months now, is it? We're on to the 9th video, so it'll just take a lot of time. I'll show how many parts we've got left. But looking ahead at the instructions, there's not much build wise left really. I reckon one more video will be the stage we're ready for paint. Then we've got to paint it, weather it, decal it, etc. So it's going to add a few more parts. How many exactly, I'm not 100% sure. We shall see. We'll play it one by ear. Sure if you guys are in shot there, you're out of shot a little bit. Just a little bit of glue in there. My Labrador's starting to snore now. And parts springing out a little bit there, the side wasn't doing that. So a bit more glue and just clamp that one in. There we go. Hold that for a few seconds. So like I say, if you're looking for a decent kit, have a look on these 132 Tamiyas. They're superb. The Corsairs, probably one of the cheapest of a lot, along with these Zeros. I can't remember the exact price of E-models, but a lot of kit for your money. Really is good value. I know the initial outlay may be quite expensive, but like I say, the amount of time involved in building the kit, it's well worth it. Make sure we're getting the right holes, top on both, yep. And there we go. So there's all that in position. So that's step 51. As you see by 52, that is attached to the fuselage, which is quite exciting. Starting to get there then. I'm going to put that to one side to dry. I'm going to leave this now at least till this evening. I want that extra thin to be perfectly dry. It'll just take a while to dry. It stays quite moist, if that's the right word, for quite some time. Obviously, because we're having the aircraft in flight, we don't need landing gear. You could build it if you wanted, but it's not going on. So it's a bit of a shame to waste your time doing that. So there's where we put the plane, obviously in flight, because it's got the covers on the wheel, wells. Sadly you can't choose either or, which is a bit of a shame. Thought Tamiya would have engineered it so you could, but obviously they don't, so that's by the by. And this is where we're at for the wing roof flaps. So we'll probably make a start of those. Will it be this part or the next part? I don't know. My main concern today, I want to get that fuselage, lower wing roots onto this fuselage, and that'll do us. So that's that. So I'll be back tomorrow or later on tonight, and we'll get those front wing leading edges sanded, filled, and what have you, and we'll come back. Okay, so it's approximately, well it's exactly 8 hours later. The wing leading edges have all nicely dried. I've got a little bit of a gap on side where I haven't quite clamped it properly, that's my own fault. But I've tidied them up, give them a sand. I'll zoom in so you can have a little look. So as you can see, this side there's only really a gap just along this. This side's pretty well done, a little bit of a gap there as well. The other side, same there, a little bit of a gap, and then a little bit more of a gap. This is purely my fault. Didn't clamp it hard enough, didn't check on it, and we've got a bit of a gap, but we can easily remedy that. Put the oil cooler intake cover on, that's all glued in position nicely. I've sanded them with the old UMP buffer. Used the black sander as well to get it all up. Tidied it all up, buffed and polished it ready so you can see exactly what we've got. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some super glue, and I'm going to use not a thin one, that's no good, gap filling. So we're going to use this one. Little dab of super glue here and there. So I'm going to grab some masking tape, let that dry, and then that'll become our filler essentially. So I can keep you guys in shot. It's going to help massively. Great super glue this. Using it now for a week or so, and highly recommend it. It works very, very well indeed. So we've got our super glue applicator. Make sure we're clean, which we are. And all we want is a dab. We don't want too much. And we're just going to go along the seam. Make sure you guys can see me. Like so. Grab some more of the thicker stuff over there. And we are literally using our super glue like we would a filler. Now the advantages of this is that it doesn't shrink, it dries really quick, it dries rock hard. So I'm just going to make sure I get that exactly where I want it. Make sure we're in, which we are. The only thing you need to be aware of, obviously, is A, it doesn't run, because it makes a hell of a mess and the clean-up's really hard. Just make sure I got the right place. You don't put too much down. So when we come to this gap, make sure it's proud of the surface. Some will go in. I'm not getting masses of super glue on the tip, I'm just getting a touch each time. So we've got a nice line of super glue all the way along. The reason I started using super glue, actually excuse me at the minute, I've got an ulcer on my tongue and it is killing me. Hence why my speech is a little bit hindered at times. The reason I'm using super glue, one of my models was taken to my little 172 Airfix Mustang was taken to Cosford just as a filler for a display table for a friend, and picking it up, I hadn't picked it up for about 8 months. I'd noticed that the Vallejo putty on the front of the fuselage actually shrunk and there was a visible seam line all the way across, so I thought, right, that's not very good. So I thought I'd use a bit of super glue. On my other build on the ISM YouTube channel, I've got Great Wall Hobbies F15 on the go. Used it on the front fuselage of that last week and it worked absolutely superb. As you can see now, this is starting to dry, and I'm literally adding a touch more to the top, especially over that gap, to make sure it is filled. That looks great. That needs a little bit more on that side. The other thing I have noticed, I did this the other day, accidentally at 15, and I sanded it probably 2 hours later. It felt dry to the touch. When I got through, because it's quite thick and it's quite thick super glue, once I got through the top layer it felt a bit tacky underneath, and I had to reapply it a second time, a little bit thinner. So what I'm going to do, I'll probably leave this overnight, and we'll come back to it tomorrow more than likely, just to make sure it's dried. And that we're not going to have to reapply it again. But there we go. As you can see, both sides are done. No problem there. So we'll put that to one side, let it dry, and we'll come back tomorrow. In the meantime, off camera, I might do a little bit more work. We'll see where I've got to tomorrow when I come back. So catch you tomorrow. Okay, next morning, super glue's dried. I've sanded it all off using a UMP sanding stick. Buffed it off. We've still got a little bit of a gap. Like I said yesterday, more than likely the glue's still a bit damp underneath. I put the super glue on top and it's not allowed to dry. So sanded it off, buffed it up. That's what we've got now. So there's still a slight gap there. Very, very slight seam this side. So I'm going to reapply some more super glue. Let that dry for a couple of days. Not as thick as super glue this time, it doesn't need a stick. Let that dry and then we'll sand that off, rescribe it, and that's done. Off camera, done a little bit more work. We've got the wing root flaps. They're all assembled. I'll go through the instructions in a minute and show you how I did them. So they're just those components. There's about 6 components. Obviously we're having a fixed position, so if I can pop it in position quickly, that lives like there. That one won't stay on its own. I don't know why. It's like a little clip which should hold it, and that one won't stay on its own. This one does. No idea why. Must be the tolerances, or more than likely the way I've made this. That's how they go. They live in there like that, and that one. That side as well, which will pop in a little bit. I've also assembled the main wings, the actual end parts. So these have just been assembled. Again, it's just plastic gluing, nothing special. A little bit of PE, couple of, well, 3 clear parts. Sorry, a few holes need to be drilled there. Clear part in there. Same here, clear part there, and this clear navigation like this side. A little bit of PE on that section, a little bit on the wing roof flaps as well. Obviously, I don't want you sitting there watching me glue bits of plastic together, because that's going to get boring after a while. It's going to drag on all the parts. So I've done this off camera. There was probably 15 components in the top, bottom sections of the wing. They've gone together very nice. Got a slight seam on the front, which has been, I've literally just assembled this. Just been Tamiya extra thin. So once that's dry, I'll leave it overnight for these to both dry, then I'll put the super glue on, leave it a couple of days, and we'll sort out when we come back for the next part. So if I go through the instruction book, and then I'll show you assembled, because we can semi-assemble the wing sections. So, where we were at yesterday, because it's now the day after, was we glued this part on. That's the part on the wing roots there. So that's where we were at. We then skipped the section here. So no, we didn't. We put these bits on, the control rods, the end piece, etc. So they're all glued in position as well. Undercarriage we don't need, and then we come to this, the wing roof flaps. So we had to choose up or down. We've gone for up. So it was just these 4 parts here. Very easy to assemble. Nothing tricky. One piece of PE on each one. Other than that, very straightforward. No need to make good the fronts, because they're not seen, they are hidden in the aircraft. If you're that way inclined, you can clean it all off, fill it, but because it's not seen, I don't see the point in doing that at all. So that's that. So that's the up. This is the down. Obviously we skip this because we're not having the down. And we go to the actual wing sections. Canopies here, we're not masking that up just yet. That'll be probably the last thing to do before we go to primer. I'm not putting the canopy on, risking it getting damaged, sort of stuff now. This goes on about masking out. I'm not using the kit mask there because we've got the Edward one, which is pre-cut, which is better. And then we go on to the outer wing upper surfaces. As you can see, a couple of holes to drill. 2 components, sorry, I was right, there's 3 components this side, 3 this side. Then we've got the outer wing upper surfaces, so again, up or down, we went for up. So there's 4 components there. Nice big 3.5mm hole to drill there, which is a bit of a pain because I haven't got a 3.5mm drill bit in here, so that's a fine one. And then the outer wing, upper and lower sections, and where they're joined together. So there's a big wing spar section in here, reinforcement bar, and that's exactly where I am now. I'm up to level. I'm up to step 68, which we don't do anyway because that's a down position. So next one will be ailerons. Attaching ailerons, the outer end of the wing, bomb rack. Just have a look, you see. A few other components inside the wing. The outer flaps, this will be next time. Gluing it all in position, getting the vertical fin on, and then we're almost ready for paint. So hopefully in the next part we'll be here. Maybe not the prop done because we don't need that done to get primer on. That's a separate stage later on for me. Obviously we can't follow the instructions to the letter because the way I work is different to the instructions. But hopefully we get all this done in the next part, and then part 11. Next part will be part 10, I think. I've lost track now. And that's it. So that's how we made all those. So very straightforward. Couple of hours work off camera. I've spent this morning doing. So as you can see, there's a fuselage half. If I show you in the forward facing camera, so the fuselage halves. This thing fits in beautifully underneath. So there's a locating tab on the back, which you can see on the overhead, and that fits in there like so. There's a couple of bit of paint I need to do in here. I need to literally spray around that with a relevant colour. Whether it's going to be the salmon colour we've got in the wheelbase, I'm not sure because there's a clear part that goes here. And obviously once it's on, I need to tie that hole up underneath as well. You can see right into the cockpit itself. Added a bit more scratching to this because you can see it obviously. So that clicks in there. There's 2. There's these, and they locate in there. Quite tricky for me to do on camera because the aircraft's getting rather big now. But you literally push them in like so, close the gap up, click it all in position, and there you go. Nice seams all the way around. Not going to cause any drama. We were extra thin in there when we were ready. That's covered. Like I said, there's a clear part here which I cut off. It's in my drawer over there. We've then got the flaps, which we pop in position and try and hold that one in for us. Is that the one that stays on? That's the one that stays on. So there we go. I'm going to stick to the front camera because it's larger than the back one. Now each wing has its shape, which is in the shape of this wing spar. It literally slots in. Beautiful fit. Holds it in, and this is where you can see just how big a bird this thing is. It is massive. For a 132 Second World War bird, it is huge. The wingspan on it is phenomenal. It's going to be a hell of a model. I don't even know it's going to fit in my display case. We can get that bugger to stay on if I can hold it underneath. It doesn't fit in the camera, it fits in the side one. There you go, look at the size of that thing, absolutely huge. It is one impressive model. Obviously we've still got another 2-3 inches on the front of this for the nose and the prop. It is going to be an impressive model. Really coming together very nice now, and obviously once we get the vertical stabilizer on, it's going to really show its size, but I can't fit it in any of the cameras. I could just about get it in the front one for you. If I show it the overhead, obviously that flap's going to keep falling off on me till it's glued in place. But the joins are nice, a little bit of extra thin. To be honest, you may be able to leave that and be able to remove the wings, which will be handy for going to shows and what have you. But I am gobsmacked how big this thing is. It is huge. And looking at my display cabinet, it's going to fit on an angle only just though. So I can pop this down without us losing the flaps, which do keep someone popping off. Don't want to glue them on yet until we're all filled. There, you can live down there. Like I say, wing fit. There's a little gap this side. Oh, it's not there now, it's gone. And on this side at all. So we'll get the FlexiFile touch and flow on that. That's going to seal that perfectly. There goes the other flap, so I think we will take those off. That is one formidable plane. It is huge. I haven't got small hands, I've got hands like shovels. Massive. I'm actually surprised just how big this thing is. So what I'm going to do off camera before we come back for the next part is I'm going to tidy all these seams up on the leading edges, fill them both exactly like we did on the wing root one, get them all sanded, polished, rescribed, ready. I'm going to look into whether I can leave these wings separate, because if I could, it'd be good just to just be able to pop the wing off. You know, it shortens the wingspan drastically, so if I'm going somewhere, it's going to be very, very handy. But that thing is awesome. Absolutely huge. Massive bird. So there you go. So like I say, we'll come back part 10. I think it's part 10. And we get all these seams sorted. Then we get the ailerons done on the back. Vertical stabilizer. Hopefully, in the next part, at the end of that, it'll be ready for primer. Fingers crossed. Let's see how we go. So there we go. Thanks for watching today, guys. paulfromemodels.co.uk. As I always say, check out eModels website if you need on there. Check out their Facebook page and YouTube channel. The rest of my videos are on there, and you can send your pictures into their Facebook page as well. As I always say, you can follow this build on International Scale Modeller, so come on over to our forum. All the videos are on there. There's a few pictures, and there'll be pictures of this going up on ISM's Facebook page as well. So come over and join us. Very friendly community, a very, very friendly forum, and obviously check out Ultimate Modelling Products as well, company I co-own, as well as I co-own International Scale Modeller. So there you go. So we're back, it'll be soon, over the next couple of weeks, hopefully, touch wood, get a bit more time, and we'll get back, get this thing ready, prepped for primer, and we're away then. We can get some paint down, bit of weather. I'm not sure I'm going to weather it yet. I was talking to somebody the other day, I was talking to Cohen, if any of you guys know Cohen, about how I want to weather this. Every one of these I see, they're always heavily weathered, battered, chipped, with loads of the aluminium showing through. I do like that look, and I love the way the cockpit looked on this. For me, I'm not a fan of really heavily weathered aircraft at all. So I'm just going to do a bit of light chipping here and there. How I'm going to do that, I don't know. Whether I'm going to use a chipping medium or a paintbrush to apply chips, I am not sure. But I'll come to that when I come to it. Basically, I'll do a bit more research, have a little look around, and see what we see. So I'll be back very soon with part 10. I think it's 10. Whatever part it is after this, because I lose track of all my videos now. I've got too many on the go. And we'll get this ready for paint. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you later, and I'll see you on International Scale Modeller.